have a special presentation for us about water safety. We live right by Lake Michigan, and many of you will spend some time at the beach, and so he's going to talk to us about how to enjoy your time there, but to also be safe. So please welcome Mr. Bob Pratt.
Thank you very much, Joe. Good morning. That's a fabulous welcome. My name is Bob Pratt. I'm the Director of Education for the Great Lakes Surf Rescue Project. We're a nonprofit organization that goes all over the Great Lakes region, talking to all kinds of people, everything from preschool kids to police officers and firefighters about water safety here in the Great Lakes region. We're here with funding from the Indiana Department of Natural Resources, the Lake Michigan Coastal Program, and NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. So we're really happy that they have allowed us to come here and talk to you today about water safety. We're going to start with a survey and then a quiz. Don't panic, it's going to be an easy quiz. So the survey is, I want you to raise your hand if you know how to swim. Okay, good, put your hands down. I want you to raise your hand if you've ever swum in an ocean, the Pacific Ocean or the Atlantic Ocean. Some of you, yeah, quite a few. Okay, put your hands down. How many of you have ever swum in Lake Michigan before? I love Lake Michigan. Lake Michigan is one of the 5 Great Lakes. It's my favorite lake. And now raise your hand if you've ever swum in a pool. Okay, good. Most of you swim in a pool. Put your hands down. Put your hands down, please. It is time for the pop quiz. Don't panic. Don't panic. This is a team quiz. So if you know the answer, I want you to yell out the answer with everybody else, because I think everybody knows the answers to these questions. Question number 1. What do you do when your clothes catch on fire? What number do you call if you have an emergency at your house? Wow. What do you do if you're struggling in the water? Okay. Put your hands down. I saw some people waving, and I heard some people say call for help. We want you to learn a new plan. We want you to learn a new strategy called flip, float, and follow. Everybody say that with me. Flip, float, and follow is a life-saving strategy like stop, drop, and roll. Now you may wonder, how do you know so much about stop, drop, and roll, and how do you know so much about flip, float, and follow? Well, I was a firefighter for 25 years in Michigan. I still live in Michigan, and I was with the East Lansing Fire Department for 25 years. That is me. This is the last fire that I was on in East Lansing, and I learned a lot about water safety and fire safety. So we're going to talk about the similarities between water safety and fire safety and the differences between water safety and fire safety. Now we do fire drills in schools. You kindergartners, you remember the first time the fire alarm went off? What is that? What is that? And you might have got scared. But you 4th and 5th graders, right? Now you've been through it so many times. Well, there's the fire alarm. Walk in a straight line, walk out the door, go out to our meeting place, because we've taught you about it over and over again. We do fire drills in schools. We do tornado drills in schools. We do lockdown drills in schools. Some places in Indiana do earthquake drills. Drowning is a bigger problem than fire. Drowning is a bigger problem than lightning and tornadoes and school shooters and earthquakes combined. Drowning is a really big problem. We're not saying you shouldn't do tornado drills, but we just want you to have more information about water safety. Everything that I learned as a paramedic firefighter, I boil down into 2 rules. And I share these 2 rules when I talk to preschool kids, and I share these 2 rules when I talk to police officers and firefighters. These 2 rules are rule number 1, don't panic. And rule number 2, know how to survive. You all know how to survive when your clothes catch on fire. You all know how to stop, drop, and roll. We need to give you strategies like flip, float, and follow so that you're safer when you go to the beach. But I want to talk about panic for a minute. Panic never, ever helps anybody in any situation. Panic is always a bad thing. Panic is something that we want to avoid all the time. No firefighters ever come out of the building and go, woo, thank goodness that whole family panicked, or it would have gone bad. Panic is always a bad thing. Let me put it in a way maybe you can understand. You walk back to your classroom, and your teacher says, all right, put your books on the floor, pull out a pencil. We're having a pop quiz. She said, how good am I going to do on that test? Is it because I don't know the material? No. It's because when I panic, I can't access that part of my brain that holds the material. Panic never, ever helps any situation. When I panic, my heart starts to beat faster, and I start to breathe faster, and my brain starts going in this crazy loop of, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, there's trouble, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And the faster I breathe, the more my brain starts doing that. Panic on land is bad. Panic in the water is even worse. Because what happens is while my heart's beating fast, and while I'm breathing fast, what I'm doing is I'm exhaling all the air out of my lungs. And as I'm exhaling air out of my lungs, I'm sinking deeper and deeper and deeper into the water. Because float is the most important part of flip, float, and follow, and the air in my lungs help me float. If you walk into your class and your teacher says there's a pop quiz, I want everybody to do this with me. Take a nice deep breath in. You will do much, much better on your pop quiz when you take a nice deep breath and relax. If I'm in the water and I'm struggling in the water and I'm exhaling all the air out of my lungs and I take a nice deep breath in, I'm going to float better. And because I float better, I'm going to relax more. And because I relax more, I can take another nice deep breath in and everything goes better. Now, flip, float, and follow doesn't guarantee that you're not going to have problems in the water. Just like stop, drop, and roll doesn't guarantee that you're not going to get burned by a fire. But flip, float, and follow is the most important strategy if you're in trouble in the water. And controlling your panic is really, really important. It's really important. Believe it or not, you can get panic from other people. Panic is contagious. What? Panic is contagious?
No, I'm not contagious.
How can you get panic from somebody else? If there's a little spider living up in the ceiling, and he comes down, little baby spider, not going to hurt anybody. Oh, I got a live one. Not going to hurt anybody, right? But she doesn't like spiders. And she sees the spider go, ah! Now, when I yelled, your heart started to beat just a little bit faster, and you started breathing just a little bit faster, and if she flicks the spider over, you go, you guys over guys over here, you can't even see the spider because it's so tiny, but you see somebody jumping up and down, and you see other people over there yelling, and that's much more likely to make you panic. Everybody take a deep breath. Don't panic. Okay. Whenever we talk about water safety, there are 3 areas that we need to talk about with water safety. We need safer kids, safer water, and a safer response. Safer kids are knowing how to swim. Now, most of you tell me that you know how to swim, but you need to recognize, you need to understand, you need to know that knowing how to swim in the pool and knowing how to swim in Lake Michigan are completely different. The pool is always warm. The pool is always flat. The sun never goes down on the pool. It's never windy at the pool. There's never big waves at the pool. And you can always see in the water at the pool. When you go to Lake Michigan, the water can be cold and it can be dark. And there can be waves and wind, and the sun can go down. It's much, much more dangerous at Lake Michigan. So I want you to be a safer swimmer by knowing that just being able to swim in a pool doesn't mean that you can swim in the lake. Safer swimmers also means wearing a life jacket. This is one of my life jackets. I have several. Yesterday I went stand-up paddleboarding. I have a big long surfboard and a big canoe paddle. And I was on Wolf Lake and I was stand-up paddleboarding and I wore my life jacket. Even though I'm a really good swimmer, even though I'm a lifeguard and I teach lifeguards, I wear my life jacket because it makes me much, much safer. These are Navy SEALs. These are the elite special forces of the Navy, and they always, always wear their life jacket. This is my good friend Mario Bertone. Mario is a rescue swimmer for the Coast Guard, and he jumps out of helicopters to save people. He always wears his life jacket. So even though you know how to swim, you still need to wear your life jacket if you're boating or fishing or kayaking, or even if you just go to Lake Michigan and the water is rough. That's a good time to wear your life jacket. So that's safer swimmer. Safer water means if you have a backyard pool, put a fence all the way around your pool so your little brothers and little sisters can't get in trouble. And if you're on vacation and the hotel has a pool, make sure that you close the gate so that nobody can get into the pool area. And a safer response means swimming near a lifeguard because they're the experts in the water. And if there's no lifeguard, how can you save somebody? How can you help somebody in the water without putting yourself at risk, without putting yourself in danger? We'll do questions at the end, okay? So just remember what it is. This is a throw ring that we can use to help save people. For the adults in the room, safer response also means recognizing that drowning is a respiratory emergency. All of you teachers are certified in CPR. That stands for cardio, which means heart, pulmonary, which means lungs, and resuscitate, which means to bring back to life. When it's a heart attack, an old man like me having a heart attack, there's still oxygen in my lungs, so we need to push hard and push fast on my chest. We need to dial 911, and we need to go get the automated external defibrillator, the heart shocker. If it's a child, or if it's a drowning situation or some other respiratory emergency like an opium overdose or a strangulation, we need to start with 2 rescue breaths, 30 compressions, 2 rescue breaths, 30 compressions until the paramedics get there. Don't panic. Everybody take a nice deep breath in. The good news, there are no sharks in Lake Michigan, not a single one. But there are other things that we're going to learn from the animal kingdom. We're going to talk about animals, and animals are going to show us how to be safe. So the first animal we're going to talk about are fish, and we call a whole group of fish a school. And just like fish are in schools, you can go to school and learn how to swim and learn how to swim better. And if you take swimming lessons, They should teach you how to roll over onto your back and float on your back, because floating on your back is one of the parts of flip, float, and follow. I love this time of year. Yesterday when I was on Wolf Lake, there were all these geese, and there were baby geese swimming around with their moms and dads. And it's really important to understand that you need to stay with mom and dad when you're at the pool and when you're at the beach. I love this mom. She's doing such a great job taking care of her little girl. She's wearing a life jacket, which makes her a safer swimmer, and mom is staying right next to her. So stay with mom and dad when you go to the pool and when you go to the beach. Our friends the penguins. Our friends the penguins are going to teach us two really important rules. Rule number one, when you're at the pool or you're at a lake or a river and there's a dock, we want to jump feet first into the water. We don't want to dive head first into the water, because if there's a rock or a log, we might bonk our heads and hurt ourselves. So always jump feet first. And when you're at the pool, look and make sure that there's nobody swimming underneath you that you might jump on top of. The other thing that the penguins are going to teach us, which is really important this time of year, is the air is going to be 75 degrees today. It's going to be sunny. After school, I'm going to go to the beach, and it's going to be hot, but the lake water is ice cold. It takes a lot longer for the water to warm up than it does for the air to warm up. So if I went to the beach and thought, whoo, I've been playing soccer on the beach, I'm going to go cool off, and I run out into the water. The water is so cold. And every year, this time of year, somebody will jump off a dock or jump off a pier into really, really cold water, and they'll hit that cold water and go, and then they'll be much more likely to panic, and they'll get in big trouble because that cold water makes you start shivering really fast. And even if you know how to swim, and even if you're a really good swimmer, that cold water makes it so that you can't even swim at all. So know the temperature before you go into the water. I didn't see any yesterday, but I saw some paddling around before. When you go to the pool, be like my friend the turtle. Walk on the